Hey, it's Jason from, Bohemia Bees, but we're not doing bees today. We're doing syrup. Maple syrup. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's been several weeks since we harvested and tapped our maple trees here. We did the black oak or black walnut trees, the black walnut trees. And our buddy Don is showing us how to do this. We've never done this before, so this is something new for us. We figured while the bees are sleeping, we can be working still. So we've put a lot of time and effort into putting together our setup. I'll walk you through what we have as a setup, and I'll put some links in the description below for some of the things. And then it'll be a long process. It's going to be a long day. We got our firewood stacked up. We've got another stack that we're going to pull from as well. But hopefully we're going to be able to render down this syrup and make it usable. So let's take a look at the setup first. Okay, so when making maple syrup, the syrup, or sap, I should say, the sap has to be rendered down because it's 98% or more water. And so the actual syrup, or the consumable side of it that we would want, would come from the tree in the form of sap, and that sap needs to be, all that moisture needs to be pulled out of it. Now, there's several ways to do this. Some people may do it in their house if they have a very small batch. The problem is you need a sustainable boil. You need to be able to boil this down for a period of time, and we'll talk about that here shortly on some of the boiling specs and things that you need to bring to it. But just to look at our setup, we actually invested in this a little bit more than we probably were thinking we were going to, but we really want to kind of set this up for success in the future. This is not an expensive setup, but it definitely took us some time to put it together. So I would recommend, if you are going to do a setup like this, or any other type of maple syrup evaporation setup, that you plan ahead and make sure it's all ready to go when you're ready to go. There's two main pieces to this. We have our heat source on the bottom, and then our evaporator here, stainless evaporator here on top. You can get these on Amazon, several different styles. This is actually a style that has a baffle in the middle. This is a 24 by 36 inch with a valve on the one side, front side, a temperature gauge, and then there's a tank up here that also is a warming tank. One of the reasons for that is that as you are boiling down your sap, you want to be able to not stop the boil. So once this thing heats to where we need to heat it to, then we're going to add the sap in. And if we have colder sap, or we have room temperature sap, we'll put that in the top up here, and then we'll let that drain down into this first baffle over here, which will flow underneath fluidly. It won't stop it by this baffle. There's nothing that stops it. But the sap, as it renders down, again, water and sap, probably the different density. So it's going to fall and roll underneath as it boils and starts to fall underneath. It'll roll, and the darker sap will be on this side, which you'll see, from as it boils down. So that's the process. This is the setup. We got a barrel stove. This is a regular 55-gallon drum barrel stove. There's actually a kit that you can get to turn this into a stove. We bought some piping for our exhaust back here, our smoke. And yes, we already have a fire going. We had a friend of ours, Phil Fowler, do a little bit of tack welding on here for us, just kind of get these brackets to hold that on there. I don't know if this setup is going to work perfectly. We're hopeful that it will. And if it doesn't, then you won't see this video, or you'll see what we modified to make it work. We need to get the temperature up to get it to boil. So got the fire started in here. As you can see, I might have snuffed it out, but I gave it a little more air. Maybe we'll keep the door open. But you can see down in there, we got to get the fire going. So I might just leave that door open to get some more air, keep the boil going. Well, let's go get our sap. So the next part of this process is the waiting.
Yep.
And waiting.
And waiting.
And waiting.
And waiting.
And waiting. We're waiting, but it looks cool. I mean, the setup's working, so let's take a look. So our boil is not boiling, but it's hot. It's about 800 degrees, I guess, in that barrel, 700 or 800 degrees. Smoke is billowing out. Our pile of wood is depleting quickly. And we're waiting to see if what we have will boil down and render. So it's a waiting game at this point. Okay, so it's been a really long day. And I think our setup is probably not gonna accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. That needs to be at a rolling boil. And it's been hanging at around 150, 160 for a couple hours now. The sun's going down, it's getting cooler out. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get this down enough to pull it tonight. So we'll go back to the drawing board. We're not sure if this is completely wasted. We've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, at least. The setup may not be exactly the way we wanted to do it. If you look at the syrup, it's definitely changed color. This is the color we're slowly going to. We would like to. This was rendered down a week or two ago and frozen and now thawed out. This down here is, as it gets moisture pulled away, it changes color. It needs to go to a rolling boil though. We've got about an inch down. We've lost, you can see about an inch. Temperature's still at 165. we need this to be boiling. Unfortunately, it may be a lost cause, but we'll never give up. Right, Don?
Yeah. Adapt and overcome.
Adapt and overcome. Adapt and overcome.
Hey everybody, this is Donald. I hijacked Jason's channel. We're still working on our maple syrup project. Had a few mishaps over at Jason's place. Those things happen. Tried a new method of boiling syrup, didn't quite work. Now we're back at my house doing the old school method of cinder blocks and an open fire. It's been about 20 minutes. I'm up to about 150 degrees. You can see the sap's got a little bit of a tint to it, which is perfect. Slowly bringing it up. Just basically made a little bit of a fireplace. Packed the mud in where I saw leaks, trying to keep all the heat underneath the pan. But yeah, we're cooking. Stay tuned. So we're back on the sap. It's been quite a few hours, let me tell you. It has taken a lot of wood to get to here. And being that this is a bee channel primarily, it didn't help that I had a massive swarm in my yard. Around 11:30, I had an absolute insane swarm. Thankfully, I was able to catch it, but it slowed me down probably by more than an hour. But we got a good fire rolling. We got a rolling boil. We're waiting for that magic number. Try to get it up to about 216 and then cut it off quick and then take it in the house and bring it up to about 219. And it will be good to filter and bottle it. And we will have Maryland maple syrup. Just another quick update. We're boiling down. Get the smoke out of my eyes. We're down about 2.5 to 3 inches down. You can tell it's starting to get that nice color. Getting close. Okay, now we're back in my kitchen. You see I'm cooking down what's left of the sap. It's starting to smell like maple syrup in here. Still have a ways to go. My kitchen is now a complete mess. This is the filter I used. I've already filtered this sap. This would make 8 times. And once I do it on the finishing, this will make 12 times. So this sap will be good to go. Currently boiling it down. Hopefully we'll be able to give Jason a call here soon. He can come over when he's done working, and he can do some work. Just kidding. The fun part's coming. And we got the bottles preheating in the oven just to bring them up a little bit. So we're getting there. All right, the moment has arrived. After a very, very long day, we boiled 40 gallons of sap into maybe 1 gallon of finished maple syrup, Maryland maple syrup. So I'm not gonna hold the phone while we sit here and fill the jars. We'll just show you the aftermath, you get it. This has been filtered 13 times and cooked down. I got it to about a bricks level of 60. You're aiming for 66, but I went with 60. 66 is if you wanted to sell it. We're at 60. We're getting pretty low, so I want to make sure we had a few bottles. It'll just be a little runny, but we'll get to pouring and then we'll show you the end result. All right, we are finished pouring and here is your finished product. We got 6.5 jars of Maryland maple syrup. We taste tested it, it's phenomenal. This isn't bad considering we had some hiccups along the way. We couldn't get fires going. We actually ruined about 10 gallons of sap, or we would have gotten probably 2 more jars, maybe 3. But for putting this together last minute to end up with 7 jars of syrup, you know what we're having for dinner tomorrow? Pancakes. Someone just shook their head behind me. So that's a wrap for 2024 or 2025. Maryland maple sugar sap season, I guess. These are really hot. I'm gonna put that down now. All right, take care, guys.
Well, it sort of worked. What do you think?
It was a win.
It was a win.
Not a loss.
Not a loss. We spent the better part of, I don't know how many hours
8 or 9.
on that unit. And then I had to go to work. So Don took everything as you saw and finished it up over at his house. He did it the right way with the cinder block setup, and we're going to modify this setup next year to be able to take that pan and do some more. So I think the right strategy would be we needed more direct heat. Would you think? More direct heat?
More direct heat on this.
More direct heat on that. We were concerned about it spoiling. We were concerned about our strategy to freeze and thaw. There's a lot of things that we were concerned about. We didn't know. It was a good testing year. Don's done this before. I've never done this before. So it was a good learning process. But we did get some maple syrup out of it.
6.5 jars.
6.5 jars, as you probably saw in a video or a picture. I'll show you here of what they look like. And it's very, very good. We've tasted it.
Honey brown.
It has honey brown. It's clear, and it's very well done. So thank you, Don, for all the time and effort put into this, the education. I'll say for someone that's interested in doing this, what would your main tip be? What would your top tips be for someone who's interested in doing this?
Research.
Locate
your trees in spring and summer.
Yep. Find out where you're going to do your tapping. Yep.
And have very dry wood.
Dry wood. Oh, dry wood. Yeah, that's a good point.
Dry wood is a definite.
Dry
I
wood.
even had to relearn that yesterday.
Okay,
as well.
so split and dry your wood now,
Dry lumber.
and get your equipment. I think if I had one takeaway that really drug this out longer than I think I wanted it to take, which was I didn't know what was needed, so I didn't do as much research. I was just kind of going off of what I knew at the time, and I think that if I knew then what I know now, I would have all my equipment, everything that I needed, tested. A baby burn on my new test burrow. We would have known that there was an issue. We wouldn't have used that, or we would have modified it. So again, it's all about planning. The trees take the time to pull in the moisture and produce the sap. We need to take the time and plan ahead if you want good maple syrup.
That much better next year.
Just not that bad. Yeah, we'll just use it for next year. So thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it on the channel. I know this is a bee channel, but we talked about in the first video of how a tree pulls in water, and it's the nectar that's produced into the buds that produces the fruit for the tree. So this is sort of related to the bees because it is a sugary sweet substance. It's not honey, but it's maple syrup, and it's just as good. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell us some comments below if you've ever tried this, or if you're going to try it. We'd love to see some comments on related to what experiences you've had, or maybe you have some questions for us that we can give you some advice. So appreciate you watching. And as always here, well, beekeeping here, well, maple syrup, well, I don't know, what's the closing line? We need a tagline.
The outdoor life, man.
The outdoor life. The outdoor life. Maybe is that your tagline?
It could be.
That could be.
Try something new.
Try something new. The outdoor life. Thanks for watching, everyone.